Once again, if you like the content that we provide, then be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the upcoming content. We have a lot to look forward to here today from the Route 66 Nationals. An incredible final day of qualifying, as well as an equally exciting day coming tomorrow, as the track is going to continue to cool, giving us prime conditions for some incredible speeds and some incredible racing. So if you don't want to miss out on any of the action, hit the subscribe button down below. And without further ado, let's get into the video.
Bob Task in the third. I think he was first to tell you they're not happy with how that car is.
The final day of qualifying for the Route 66 Nationals were met with weather conditions that provided the perfect track for records to be broken. And the stars at NHRA did not disappoint, as both ends of the top fuel record were broken, with Doug Coletta breaking the ET record with a 366 with a 1. Antron Brown would smash the speed record with a 338.09 mile-an-hour pass, and Matt Smith would break the Pro Stock motorcycle track speed record with a 204.26 mile-an-hour pass. Steve Torrance arrived to Chicago feeling confident after a successful test at IRP on Tuesday that saw him run back-to-back passes in the 370s, showing a possible turnaround after a frustrating decline in performance.
Track was really good this morning. You saw the cars go out there and go 66, and it's just a little bit tricky. I mean, this place gets raced on once a year, so conditions were very sketchy yesterday, and today was better. Q4 wasn't as good as Q3, and we missed the boat on really going out there and running low ET Q3. But I mean, we were early in the pack and we needed to get a good A to B run, so I'm pleased with that. Tomorrow morning will be early start, 10:30. Track will be great, and we got a tough competitor with Spencer Massey, so we really need to study what we did today and go out there and try to turn these rounds into wins.
Matt Hagan comes back to the track he won at a year ago with a new name leading the team behind the tuning role. After a lackluster start to the 2025 season, he feels that things might finally be starting to turn in their favor.
Yeah, Mike's mentality is go down the racetrack, right? Like I don't think he's going to be in the next Jimmy Croc or anything like that. He's like, hey man, let's go down the racetrack. Let's give ourselves a shot here. His first thing on Fridays is go down, and then kind of swing for the fence Friday night. And it's kind of bit us a little bit here in this earlier deal, because a lot of times we'll go down on Friday and we're middle of the pack, and then we miss it on on Friday night or something like that, and then Saturdays are hot. So this has just been a great race to kind of come in, and the weather conditions played in our favor for the day, where we were able to kind of get in the show and then come out here, and the weather came around to us where it's cool, we can really throw down and run hard. And Mike stepped up. I mean, he really did. He stepped up today, and we went 88 2 times in a row. And it's one of those things where I was trying to push him to run 85, but he did what he did to turn the wind light on, and I'm proud of that. He's his own man. He's making his own calls up there. We all throw our 2 cents in the hat, but he's the one that's got to make the calls. And it was kind of always, Dickie always had so much experience, right? He's seen so many race cars and racetracks and different things. So you never really got to throw your 2 cents in there, you know what I mean? And so when it's watching that new plant grow, man, it's just kind of one of those things where, it's exciting because he's excited, and it's something new, and it's nothing to take away from Dickie by any means. But when you have new blood in there, it's kind of like, man, it just, you see a guy that just gets the opportunity, and opportunities out here are very few and far between, so I'm proud of Tony that he allowed it to happen, and I'm proud that and Dickie's doing great over there. You know what I mean? They're number, I don't know, 2 or 3 or whatever it is. They're top of the field as well. So I didn't think that the change was going to hurt Dickie in any way, shape, or form. But you have to take a real gamble with a new guy, and like I said, I've been one of those guys that's been pushing that the whole time. So we'll see what tomorrow brings. It's race day is a whole different deal, and we're glad to pull down this Too Fast, Too Tasty, but. It's nice, we'll pat ourselves on the back tonight, but stay humble and dig deep and work hard tomorrow.
Steve Johnson is another rider that has found himself with a strong turnaround in performance. After struggling to find power the last few seasons, he found himself in the final round of Charlotte and now sees himself with a shot at again competing with the big teams in Pro Stock motorcycle.
They all had NOS. Actually not. Yay, Fast and Furious. NOS, that was quite a story. But we actually had a good bike in the final, and thank you for noticing. We're a privateer, and we definitely try to come up with things on our own. We have a lot of help from crazy smart people. Getting that actually to the racetrack is what is what separates the men from the boys, so to speak. In 22 and 21, we really had that defined, and we're really executing that plan. took me a little side route, and now I came back. So I guess to answer your question specifically and concisely, yes, I think we can start running good. We have a good weight break advantage right now, so I want to be able to utilize that. At the same time, these motorcycles, no matter how much power you have, you still have to be able to ride them and do your job going down to the finish line. Making sure you sit on the motorcycle, making sure you leave right, making sure you hit all your shift points. So those are all things that are really, really important. If you don't do that, it doesn't matter, like I said, how fast it is. So hopefully my mental brain is connected, we have some mental toughness, and we'll do good today, especially with this tailwind. It's a very good time to make a career best run.
Protect your vehicle with peak original equipment technology. Our formulas match the vehicle manufacturer's technology requirements so that we have the perfect match for every vehicle.
Indian Pro Stock Motorcycle Gage-Trail would end up number one qualifier yet again with a 671 with a 7. Not too far behind him in second would be Matt Smith, who ran a 672 with a 7 and broke the track speed record at 204 miles an hour. In third would be Gage's Vance and Hines teammate Richard Gadsden, who would end up in third with a 673 with a 7. In fourth would be Angie Smith. Fifth would be Kelly Clowns, who had an incredible weekend, as well as in sixth would be Ryan Ayler, who ran a career best ET at a 679 with a 6. Gianna Evaristo will be back in the 7th spot. Mark Ingerson rounds out the top half in 8th. 9th is going to be John Hall. 10th is Chase Van Sant, who had a weird moment in Q3 when a chain broke off his bike in the burnout box. Steve Johnson, we talked to earlier, he ends up in 11th with a 684 with a 7. Chris Bostick down in 12th. Gino Scally in 13th. Lance Bonham in 14th. And Wesley Wells ends up in the 15th spot. Gage-Trail will have a bye round in round number 1. Jack Beckman qualified number 1 at the sponsor's hometown race with a 385 with a 9. Paul Lee would round out second with a 386 with a 6, and Matt Hagan falling to third with a 388. J.R. Todd, who was qualified number 1 on Friday, ends up 4th on Saturday with a 388 with a 4. Bob Taskett a third, a good start to the weekend, ends up in 5th. Ron Capps, we talked to yesterday, he ends up in 6th. Austin Prock, who entered Q number 4 in the 15th position, bumps himself up to 7th with a 391 with an O, and Chad Green will round out the top half with a 393. Spencer Hyde, who had the car randomly shut off on the starting line, he ends up in 9th with Bobby Buddy falling all the way down to 10th. Alexis DeJoria ends up in 11th spot with Daniel Wilkerson with a 399 with an 8. Cruz Pedregon with the scariest moment of the day so far after exploding the body during his Q3 run. He falls to 13th. Blake Alexander in 14th. Buddy Hull unable to make the run in Q number 4. He falls to 15th. And Dave Richards in the 16th spot, the last car in the show. For the 3 cars not in the show, Chris King a 554 with a 6. He already stated his son graduating tomorrow. He had no plans of trying to make the race. This was a test weekend for him and his crew. Justin Shreve, for a very frustrating weekend, ends up at the 18th spot with a 619 with a 3. And Dale Creasy Jr., the last car on the list, with a 675 with an 8. And lastly, in Top Fuel, Doug Coletta with an incredible run, a new track ET record, a 366 with a run, takes top honors. Tony Storr, an incredible weekend so far for him. He ends up in second with a 367 with a 9, advancing to the Mission Foods Too Fast, Too Tasty Challenge, where he would lose to none other than the guy he beat in qualifying. Sean Langdon ends up in third. The Mr. 1000, winning the 1000th race in Top Fuel last time out in Charlotte, he ends up in third, a 368 with a 7. And Sean Brown, breaking the track speed record, falls to 4th. Justin Ashley, who Antron had to beat for the speed record, who set the record back in Q number 3, he's back in 5th. Steve Torrance down in 6th at a 371. Sean Reed in 7th. Josh Hart falls to 8th, a 373 with a 5, rounds on the top half. Clay Milliken down in 9th. Dan Mercier, an incredible run for him, a 375 with a 5, career best ET for him. He ends up in 10th. Spencer Massey did not show up for Q4. He ends up in 11th. Brittany Force in 12th. TJ Zizzo in 13th. Kyle Wurtzel down in the 14th spot. Terry Totten in 15th. Lex June, who made his way into the show on the final run of the afternoon with a 4:0.99, is the last car in the show. And sadly, friend of the channel, Will Smith and Luigi Novelli, team's Top Fuel dragster, is the one car going home, a 450 with a 9, not enough to make the show. Final thoughts on the day. I talked to a lot of drivers this weekend, and many of them, like yesterday, pointed that today was going to be a day where track records had an opportunity to be broken, and many of them were true. With the massive tailwind we saw on the racetrack, it propelled a lot of cars to have the opportunity to break the track records, as well as the cool track conditions, and we're going to have even colder ones tomorrow. You saw both ends at a Top Fuel track record being smashed. The Pro Stock motorcycle speed record here at this facility was broken as well. We saw career best ETs from many drivers throughout all 3 of the categories that are here this weekend, and it's going to get even better tomorrow as we wrap up the Route 66 Nationals. So if you want to stay up to date with everything that's going on here this weekend at the Route 66 Nationals, as well as back home at the Indianapolis 500, where a chaotic qualifying has broken out to decide the 33-car field for this year's Indianapolis 500, be sure to subscribe to the channel today so you don't miss any of the upcoming content. Be sure to follow me on all the social media pages down below, Mighty Mac Go Through on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And until tomorrow afternoon, this has been Mighty Mac. We'll see you next time.